Thank you, Secretary Raimondo and Karen Lynch. Two women in organizations working to ensure that women are in the workforce and have access to leadership positions. What a day, intentionality and shining the spotlight. To close this out, I want to welcome Sharon Reynolds, CEO and founder of DevMar Products and the DevMar Family Company, chair of the WBC Advisory Council, and WBC board member, a true leader in one of those prolific women's movements ever. And Andi Simon, founder and CEO of Simon Associates, and a co-chair of the WBC Advisory Council. Andi and Sharon, we look forward to your takeaways from today. Take it away.
Hey, thank you, Gwen. What a nice introduction. Sharon, you and I, 2 years ago, were part of a video we did for the WBC as its first summit. Remember that?
Yes.
And don't you remember? And I remember so vividly that Sharon was telling us about the history, the hurdles, the glass ceilings, all of the things that we had to deal with. And I was the futurist anthropologist looking ahead, trying to see where we were going and how well we were getting there. What's so interesting is 2 years later, how far we've come and how far we have to go. But it's very interesting to watch the stories. I'm a storyteller. And what we know is that if you can't see it, you can't be it. And as I listened today, what did we hear? Oh, yes, everyone had a story. I think the Sunda Brown Duckett's father said it so well. People see your glory, but not your story. So what is it in all the stories that we heard today? Yes, we heard about the hurdles, the glass ceilings, the lack of intentionality, the way in which women have to, in fact, want to do something, but also not to have imposter syndrome, to really amplify the qualities they bring and to believe in themselves. But it was very interesting. I bet our audience, and I was watching the chat, they could really feel the power of the moment and the movement. And that's what WBC is all about, amplifying and accelerating what's happening all over, but through collaboration, really making it transformational. So our question for you, as you wrap up the day today and think about tomorrow, can you dream the dreams? What we know as an anthropologist or in the neurosciences is if you can imagine it, you can begin to believe it. The interesting part is that you can't see it in its spots. So we have to see it as we pull it together like today. So if you're imagining a future and we can change the world for women, women of color, LGBTQ women, and for men who want to help women, you're going to hear about Ally for Women tomorrow. It's really Ally for Her. It's so exciting to watch the collaboration. Now is our moment. So let's feel the power of this day as it ripples through every part of our society. And I want to ask Sharon to share some of her reflections from today. And I'll come back and share some of mine, but think about your own, because the ending is often what we remember best. And while I love the whole day from the beginning till now, don't forget the impact that this has on all of us as we change our own stories. Sharon, how about your reflections?
Oh, fantastic, Andi. And it seems like we were just having this conversation only yesterday. And here we are with so many significant milestones accomplished as we look toward the future. What started as a mission has led to our now living the vision for equal position, pay, and power for all business women. We still have a lot of work to do, given the fact that only 2.3% of all venture funding goes to women entrepreneurs, and even fewer dollars are granted to women of color. Yet, we must celebrate the amazing investment corporations like Sodexo, Walmart, and GM are making toward gender equity and diversity that's actually happening now. No more fluff. Time for action, right? So I was also moved by the passion and intentionality from the CEO Roundtable for Gender and Diversity Equity, from Jim Fitterling, Chairman and CEO of Dow, Tricia Griffith, President and CEO of Progressive Insurance, and Barbara Hampton, President and CEO of Siemens, as we learned how much their commitment and leadership has powerful impact in their organizations. And I think a couple of other observations I noted was nearly 1/3 or 31% of BlackRock's board of directors seats are occupied by women. And General Motors spent more than $663.4 million supporting women-owned businesses in 2020. And those are some significant milestones that we want to share and that we want to celebrate. Andi?
Well, and as each of them said, we can't go back. And so we have to keep pushing forward. I heard some really tidbits that sort of stuck with me. I love that at Progressive, they're proud to report that every employee with similar performance experience and job responsibilities, the women earn $1 for every dollar earned by a man, and people of color earn the same as every dollar earned by a white coworker. Now, as you and I were talking, why is that so hard? And why is that so magical? And why has that been such a fight that we've had to achieve? Just do it and see what happens as an accelerator from that. So it becomes quite interesting to listen. At Siemens, they believe by advancing women of color, they're strengthening their team culture. Wow. If you understand culture, the power of the team is important. So it's what exposes us to new perspectives, they said, and sparks more creativity. People feel empowered, and I love these words, to bring their full, authentic selves to work. You want a half a person at work, or you want the whole person who wakes up in the morning and is so committed to come, can't wait to get to work? And at Dow, they put more than $1 billion per year towards supporting women-owned businesses. Tomorrow has so much to celebrate. So what do you see coming tomorrow, Sharon? And then I'll share with you some of the things I'm looking forward to.
Sure. Well, I think tomorrow opens the door to what is happening in corporate leadership, how they're leading the charge, and the progress in the WBC's 9 action initiatives. We're going to hear about how corporations are pushing us forward, literally leading the charge. You will hear from leaders in the field discussing what they are doing to change the role in women in business substantially and not incrementally. We will also be recognizing the 2021 awardees for gender and diversity excellence and how women of color are leading that charge. While all of the 9 action initiatives are important, some to highlight are on what we are. Increasing the number of women CEOs in the P&L roles in the C-suite, yet only 8% or 41 of CEOs at Fortune 500 companies are female. We've got a lot of work to do there, Andi. Increasing the amount of capital available to women entrepreneurs. Less than 3% of all VC funding goes to women entrepreneurs. And the push forward to place women and women of color on corporate boards. This is still a challenge to overcome. And in 2020, women held 11% of board seats, up from 7%. All S&P 500 boards now include women. And finally, how are we going to attract and retain women in science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM? The change we always used to say comes slow, very slowly, and then swish, all at once. We are almost on the brink of the sea change, and we cannot let up and slide back. Particularly important is how to re-engage women who found themselves out of work during the pandemic and now trying to find a different type of work to balance their home lives and work lives in this hybrid generation. Andi?
Yep, and don't forget how we're going to amplify the power of purpose. Joey Ryman is going to be here to talk about both the changing corporation, where purpose is driving as opposed to an afterthought. And why is Mona Lisa smiling? You're going to say, Mona Lisa smiling? You must come and hear it. And Indra Noy is going to talk about, how does purpose really create a culture that is transformative? I'm really interested in sharing the Business Collaborative Energizer Bunnies tomorrow. It's really fascinating how all of this trends that we're seeing is creating something bigger than any part of it. It really is accelerating the movement forward. And I do think that's what is so exciting to listen to and to engage with and to celebrate. So we are pushing every part of our society forward. We all are. And everyone in the audience, as I was watching your notes, were all saying, this is exciting. What Magic Johnson's doing is so exciting. It's so powerful. It's happening. And it's happening together. And as we're pushing it forward, we're realizing, as we started our day today, that this isn't a think tank. This is a do tank. And I can't emphasize that enough. What is a do tank? It doesn't just, hope. Hope is not a good strategy. It makes it happen. And that's what's happening. And that's what's so much fun. So the Women's Business Collaborative, the WBC, is ready to build the future faster together because, in fact, it's happening. And I often say the future is now. Sharon, wrap us up.
Oh, absolutely, Andi. And speaking of trailblazers, the incredible Tasunda Brown Duckett, CEO of TIAA, so eloquently stated, choose to lead all the way in and lead unapologetically. I just was resonated by that statement. It was just so timely. And then we'd also like to thank Edie Frazier and Balaji Janapathy for an empowering opening statement for their vision and leadership of the WBC. And in closing, the WBC is the only women's movement positioned to drive change and report on its impact globally. And with over 76 partner organizations who have joined us, we are unstoppable. So come back tomorrow and prepare to be even more amazed. We enjoyed bringing this segment to you. Andi?
Thank you. Bye now.